What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Rich of Review Tech USA. I am back with a very off-the-cuff video about a very serious topic. And the reason why I want to bring this up is for two reasons. One, Icy Rhythms asked me to talk about it. He left me a very long message asking me about my thoughts on the health of the U.S. economy. And two, I think it's good for me to talk about things like this during Sunday vlogs because I know a lot of my audience isn't into, the financial markets, whether you're older or younger. And I think if there's any time to start paying attention is now, because a couple days ago or several days ago, S&P Standard & Poor's downgraded the U.S. credit rating, which has always been a AAA, to a AA+. And it is going to send world markets into a frenzy. And honestly, I really think that we are on the cusp of a second Great Depression. And here is why. Now, before anyone thinks that I am a know-it-all with this, I am a financial noob. I started getting into this a couple years back and learning about the economy, learning about the financial markets and what makes them tick, what the Federal Reserve is about, only a couple years ago. And I'm still trying to wrap my mind around a lot of it. I understand more than I can explain properly, so if I sound ignorant in this video, I do apologize, but I'm going to try to explain it as best I can and tell you why this is such a dire time in history. What you're looking at on the screen right now is an inflation calculator, and basically what it's showing is if in 1913 I purchased an item for $1, then in 2011, that same item, would cost $22.80. The rate of inflation of that is 2,180%. Let's take that even further. Say I was chilling in 1913 and I had $100 in my wallet. $100 isn't that much money. And that $100 I had in 1913 maintained its value. I went through a time machine and had that $100 with me, and it maintained its value from 1913, it would be worth $2,280 today. That is how much the dollar has devalued from 1913, almost 100 years ago. Here is another perfect way to see how much buying power the US dollar has lost, especially over the past 5 years. The recession started around about 2007. The financial crisis really didn't kick in until 2008. But look at this chart. From 2007, where gold was worth a little over $500, gold is now worth on August 8th, 2011. Let me go look at goldprice.org. I'm going to refresh it right now. Gold is worth $1,711.72. And it's changing by the minute. I'll have a link in the description. You can go check it out yourself. Now, a lot of people, to calm people down, will say, oh, it's just because, the markets are unstable and people want to invest in a hard asset. That's like 2% of it. What gold really is a good indicator for is how much a currency is devaluing. And do the math. The higher the price of gold goes, the less buying power the dollar has. Currencies are supposed to have a direct correlation to gold. And when central banks, aka the Federal Reserve, are constantly printing money and trying to bail out banks and bail out corporations, what they're doing is devaluing the dollar because the money that they're printing is becoming nothing more than paper, because the more money you print, the less it's directly correlated to gold. And with the huge bailouts, the TARP money that the Federal Reserve printed, the fact that we're borrowing so heavily from China and Japan, our financial system is on life support. It pretty much already is worthless. We're well over $14 trillion in debt. And now what makes it even worse is that Standard & Poor's, like I said, downgraded our credit rating, which could make credit card interest rates skyrocket and make it even tougher to get loans. And it's already almost impossible in the States to get loans. And because so many of the world's economies have the US dollar as their reserve currency, their economy, their financial health is based on the US dollar, it's going to send world markets into a panic, because if the dollar fails, that means other world economies will fail. Other nations' economies will fail. So even if you're watching this video right now and you live somewhere else besides the United States, this is just as bad of a problem for you as it is for us. In 2008, when the U.S. stock market crashed and the Federal Reserve and the government said they were going to step in and throw a bunch of TARP money around to, save banks because they're too big to fail and save corporations, it made me so angry. Because the economy, at least in the States, is supposed to work like this. A lot of people blame the Federal Reserve for, bubbles growing and bursting when it comes to, there was the housing bubble, there was the dot-com bubble. But what's supposed to happen, as painful as it initially is when, when a bubble bursts and there's a recession, small or large, things are supposed to fail. Banks are supposed to fail. Foreclosed homes and businesses are their prices are going to deflate, and people who couldn't afford them before, say for example, because of a recession, there was a bunch of storefronts in Las Vegas, because Las Vegas is a perfect example of how, giving the banks bailouts is a bad idea, because there's a bunch of foreclosed and, empty businesses that the banks won't give up because they don't have to, because they got their asses wiped by the Federal Reserve. But what's supposed to happen is when a storefront or someone can't pay their bills, the place gets foreclosed on, and say it was $500,000 during the bubble for the home or for the foreclosed business, it's supposed to decrease dramatically in price. That's everything deflating because the bubble burst. And what happens is people who couldn't afford it before can afford to buy these homes or businesses now, these assets now, and that's what makes the economy rebuild. That's the natural process. And what happened is when they had all these bailouts and they saved all the corporations and banks that were too big to fail, because they got the money from the Federal Reserve and the government, they didn't have to give them up they didn't have to give up these foreclosed homes and businesses for lower prices. And they basically screwed up the natural rhythm of our economy. There's a bunch of speculation coming from all the way from conspiracy theorists to straightforward mainstream financial analysts, from Peter Schiff's to the Don Heralds, as to why this is happening. And I can make a 4-hour video on all the theories as to why the world's economy is collapsing. But I could tell you this, the dollar is going to fail. I don't know if it's going to fail in a year, 2 years, or 5 years. The dollar is on the brink of collapse. And when the dollar collapses, the whole world will be in another Great Depression. I don't want to see this. I hope I am 150% wrong, but we're almost there already. And when the dollar does fail, the world as you know it, the financial freedoms that you have now, will be stripped from you. All I could say is I can't do it, but if you could afford to buy gold, buy some gold. Obviously, don't dump all your eggs into one basket, but buy some, because gold isn't going down anytime soon. It's been on a steady rise since 2007, and it's going to stay that way. And the higher gold goes, the more frightened I am, because that's the closer our dollar is getting to collapse. And a lot of people will tell you that don't trust gold. Those people don't know what they're talking about. I'm not a financial analyst, but gold has been the staple of world economies for thousands upon thousands of years, and it's never lied and it's never failed. And keep on watching that gold price, because I'm telling you, the higher the gold goes, the more unstable the world economy is becoming, and it's a sign of some very frightening things to come. Hi guys, I'm back. Lovely way to start the week off, huh? Well, I'll have tech videos up starting tomorrow. But anyway, guys, this is Rich of Review Tech USA. And I don't care if you're 13 years old or 53 years old watching this video. Start paying attention to the world's economy, because there's a lot of interesting things happening that people of any age need to be aware of. Have a good one.